Hello and welcome to Genius Gecko video. This one is going to be about new features coming into BigPicture in an update 8.19 already. And I have to say that BigPicture took me by surprise with introducing something that I did not expect to be here in this product. So that's going to be quite fun to talk about it, I think. Before I start, though, I want to mention that this video is part of our effort to deliver high-quality training and learning materials for the Atlassian ecosystem. If you want to support that process, then consider subscribing to the channel, giving a like to this video, commenting on it, but also please remember that we do offer paid services in this area. We are experts when it comes to BigPicture and other project management tools in the Atlassian ecosystem. If you want to explore training, consulting, implementation help, any kind of services regarding this area, but also Jira plus Confluence configuration customizations, you know where to find us. The information is right here, an email address, how to contact us, and of course more information will be available in the description of this video. And now let's talk about 8.19 update of BigPicture. So this video will also be part of our BigPicture video course that we have available, which we keep up to date. Therefore, this information is also going to be available for all the course users. Let's start 8.19 with the most or the biggest feature that has been introduced, which is the possibility to add tasks or items or Jira issues to your BigPicture project plan, like this one, for example, that I have right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. The tasks without dates. So this was not possible before. Whenever you added a task or a Jira issue or anything else to the box or the Gantt view or the scope view in BigPicture, this element automatically got start and end date so that it is displayable on the Gantt chart, because otherwise it cannot be shown over here. Well, the people at BigPicture came to a conclusion that maybe this is not a hard requirement, and now we can add items to this box that don't have to have start and end dates, or they can be missing just one of those dates. So this is exactly an example of how missing one of the dates looks like. This task has an end date, but does not have the start date. And of course, I could fix this. So let me see, this is March 2021. I could fix this by adding a start date. So let's go back to March over here and say, yes, we have a start date like that. And there you go, the task has been scheduled. You can see that it didn't schedule exactly at the beginning of March because I have a dependency coming from another task. So this is also a very interesting aspect of now how different elements of BigPicture behave because those dates are missing, right? So it of course will influence the dependencies, it will influence the delayed tasks, it will influence the critical path. So it's important to realize that there are things that now will have to be taken into account when you are managing those elements without those start and end dates, right? And because those elements, those Jira issues, will not be available only here on the Gantt, but also on the board, in the resources module, in the scope module, then there are several different places you will have to be kind of aware of the fact that taking care of these elements that are or will be a little bit special in the when it comes to the configuration is something to keep in the back of your head, and we will definitely have to do this as well as consultants. So let's do this one. I'm going to get rid of the end date for a change, and then this is how the task will look like without an end date as expected. Let's get rid of the start date so that the task has no dates at all. And then we will see that it simply disappears from the Gantt. But now when I hover my mouse on the level of this issue over the Gantt, I get the possibility to add it back into the Gantt. And one thing I want to mention from the beginning over here, you can see that I got a warning because the dates of the tasks. So I click somewhere over here, but the task was actually scheduled here because the dependencies that you have on those tasks that for some reason lose their start and end dates, or maybe the dependency was created outside of BigPicture, which is also possible. Those dependencies are still being saved, and just because the dates are gone, the BigPicture does not get rid of the dependencies. That's why when I put my task back on the Gantt, it immediately got reverted to over here because of the dependency to the task they have here at the bottom, right? So it works as it's supposed to be working. So in that matter, everything is okay. Awesome. The next thing I want to show you, still here on the Gantt chart, I think I can do this, is that now BigPicture has a built-in field, Jira field, that is responsible for holding the information regarding the team assignment. And this field is a lot better than the previous one. So I'm going to switch to the team view over here, because this is where I will have this field available. I will stretch this. The Gantt chart is not really that important. And this is the last column you can see over here. This is where this team is available. And you can see that I have different teams assigned to this field. And this is a special type of the field. Previously, we had a label field only available. Now we can use this special field. And look at this. When I try to update the value on this field, so double click on it, I have all of the teams that are available inside my box available over here to choose from. And as you can see, the presentations or the presentation of those teams is very BigPicture-like. So we have like a team name and a team short code. So everything that is really necessary for us to pick the right team is visible over here. And I checked it whenever you update the teams module and add a new team, for example, over there, it appears over here as well. You can actually see it over here, add it to team field. It's been added definitely. So it works beautifully, and I'm really happy that this finally came to BigPicture, because managing tasks per teams is a very important aspect of planning going through the whole planning process. Therefore, I believe that being able to clearly identify where this task is going, to which team it belongs to, is super important from the management perspective, also from the reporting perspective. Awesome, good job. Now the next thing, I'm not going to even go there and show it to you, but inside the reports module, when we are grouping the data by a specific value, now we can use numerical fields as those values as well. Previously it was not available, now it is available. So if you want to group, for example, by the task duration, which is like a numerical field, it's possible. If you want to group by the task progress, which is maybe assigned to a numerical field as well, which can be done in BigPicture, then it's possible. If you have some other numerical fields that maybe do some kind of a scoring of your tasks based on some criteria, it's also available, right? Like weighted, shorted job first, for example. So it opens up some possibilities. I think it's a rather niche aspect of a use case, but it definitely will be useful to some of the users of BigPicture. The next one, I'm going to switch to just for a brief moment on the board. On the board over here, we now can also create basic tasks. So basic tasks were missing from the board. Now they are, they were not missing from the board, but you were not able to create them from this level. Now you can, so that's a small thing. And last thing that I want to mention, I'll go back to the Gantt again. Last thing is a usability feature that basically says that whenever you have a certain view on the Gantt over here locked on, so I will, let's say, do something like this, and you refresh the screen, it should go back to exactly the same position that you have been looking at in terms of the timeline. So it is important when it comes to long project plans, long work breakdown structures stretched in time, so that when you come back here, refresh the page for whatever reason, maybe you want to see some new tasks coming in because they were added on the Jira side, then you refresh and then you are looking exactly at the same screen as before. I also did some tests around this, and one thing that doesn't work for me is that when I scroll down, for example, to an element over here and refresh this, then it will not remember that I have an element down there, and it will not scroll down to the element I've been looking at, but it will keep the right time frame. So I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So it refreshes, I'll scroll down, and the element that I had highlighted is still highlighted over here. The time frame is all right. We were looking at the very beginning of this task previously. It is still very beginning of this task over here, but I had to scroll down to this element, right? So it doesn't scroll vertically, but it remembers the horizontal position of the Gantt chart, so to say. A step forward, definitely. All in all, a very surprising update, 8.19. I definitely have to say that I do like the changes, although it's important to note that it adds another level of complexity to the tool, which I am not that huge of a fan, because the tool is already quite advanced, and working with it, especially in more complicated setups, it can be a little bit demanding, especially if you haven't been trained, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, if you don't know all the features and you're wondering why you can't move one item from the left to the right or from the right to the left, and it keeps jumping back and you can't do anything about it, or where are certain elements that you were expecting to see, right? So these kind of things, like troubleshooting and figuring out what's going on, especially when automated scheduling is taking effect, can be a little bit more troublesome, but it definitely is still manageable. And all in all, it will definitely be a step forward, especially for those customers that were looking for having a way of putting things over here on a Gantt without scheduling them on the time frame. Like, for example, we could do this for any kind of risks that are available in our project plan. Maybe you don't want to schedule them in time. Maybe you don't want to be looking at them from the Gantt perspective, Gantt chart perspective. Yes, so of course, if you want to explore training options and get better at using BigPicture, maybe you are using BigPicture already, but you feel like you're missing a lot when it comes to the possibilities that this tool has to offer. Yeah, we help companies go through this obstacle and figure out how they can actually leverage 100% of what the tool can do to their benefits, to your benefits as well. So reach out to us and we will be happy to schedule a call and talk about it. And with this, thank you so much for listening. I'll be seeing you in one of the next videos.